back. This is Boomer Life on CL 650.
Help, I need somebody. Help, not just anybody. Help,
We are back on Boomer Life on CL 650 and in studio from PhilipsLifeline, Canada's #1 medical alert service, Tracy Griffin and Jeanette Schwinnard. And in studio right now, Veronica Lynch, the program manager for Delta Lifeline. Veronica, tell us a bit about yourself and your involvement with Delta Lifeline and about the program itself.
Okay, I'm very pleased to be here on behalf of the Delta Lifeline program. Since 1969, Delta Hospital Auxiliary has been a leader in supporting health care for Delta residents. The Delta Hospital Auxiliary Society's mission is to provide patient care and comfort at Delta Hospital, raise money for medical equipment, and to maintain a good relationship with the community. Lifeline is the electronic emergency response system which enables those at risk to remain more comfortable at home. It provides great assistance, and the Lifeline unit's goal is to assist seniors and individuals with disabilities to reside independently with the medical alert system that works 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. And our goal is to give people the chance to live independently for as long as possible in their own homes. All funds earned by our Lifeline unit go into the care and comfort of patients at the Delta Hospital. And our auxiliary works very, very hard for the people of Delta and their hospital.
Tell me a little bit more about the auxiliary. Who are these folks? Are they volunteers? Are they family members? Are they
They're
staff?
all volunteers, women that have established the most amazing program for Delta over the years, and I am so proud to be a part of it. There have been some incredible, intelligent business women that have started with little bits of cash and have invested wisely and done tremendous work for Delta and the Delta Hospital. With the thrift shop, with the Lifeline, with the cafe, with just about anything that you can ask for.
This is where I see a difference between people just doing a job and serving a demographic in our society. I mean, it must be very gratifying to provide a service that is so necessary to the public.
It absolutely is, and it's wonderful to be a part of it and to be able to share that with everyone in Delta.
Now, you've talked about the work of your auxiliary. You've talked about sort of the breadth and scope of what you do, but talk about some of the experiences that you have had, some of the differences in lives that you've been able to make in your work with the Lifeline.
I got into Lifeline because my mother was a Lifeline user, and I learned from experience of how important it was for her and for my sister and myself to be able to have that comfort and security knowing our mother was cared for. My mom lived in New West. At that time I lived in Richmond, and I was terrified all the time when I knew she was home and I couldn't hear her and I couldn't talk to her. But once we got her a Lifeline, she felt far more independent, far more secure, and actually seemed to get a little bit younger in mind and spirit. And for my sister and I, wow, the stress level was just lifted, and we felt confident and very secure in knowing she was looked after.
What a terrible strain that must be on families when the person who is trying to figure out what to do with mom and or dad, and they don't know where to turn to. It can cause familial problems, in between siblings. It can strain relationships. You love this person, but all of a sudden they become and you don't want to say the word burden. What a difference when they can have a service like Lifeline.
I remember one call that I had not that long ago from a lovely, lovely lady who had just lost her mom and was trying very hard to care for her father. Not only that, she was babysitting her grandchildren. And we are definitely a sandwich generation where we love all of our family, young and old. And when I just said to her, when she called us, "How can we help you?" she broke down in tears because finally someone understood where she was at. She loves her dad. She knows he needed this. He was very stubborn and trying very hard to live independently. But I think what a lot of the seniors have to realize is what a wonderful gift they're giving their children who are the caregivers now. The peace of mind that you can give your son and daughter that's trying to do the best for you is a tremendous thing to think about.
Do you deal with, or do the calls that are most impactful come from, quote unquote, the son or the daughter? Because there tends to be, and I don't know if this is true, but I hear, and my mom subscribed to this, that the women in the family were the nurturers, and the boys went out and, you know, paid for the houses and, you know, took care of things like that. Who do you talk to most?
I talk to a lot of families. I've found, oddly enough, that daughters tend to always take charge. It's the woman thing, I guess it's what we do.
Multitasking.
Multitasking. I've also found a lot of sons that are trying to follow that path, that don't have a sister, but there's always one in the family that will be the one in charge. It doesn't matter where their placement is, younger or older, but there's always one in the family, and they always worry, and they always think more. It's not that you don't all love your parents, but there's always one that has to take that initiative. But I also talk to a lot of people that have just come to the realization themselves that they don't feel safe anymore, that they themselves are losing their confidence in who they are as people, and they need to get this in place. And once they do, they're more confident again. They're living independently again, and they know that they can get the care when they need it, because not everybody is blessed with family. There are a lot of people that are totally on their own. And the one thing I remember about Lifeline was when my mom did feel those odd, lonely moments, she just pushed a button and said, "Good morning, this is Helen." And whoever was on the end receiving the call always said, "Good morning, Helen, are you having a good day?" and made her feel there was somebody out there that really genuinely cared.
Well, I think that's important, that people should hear that they're not being a nuisance just because they pressed the button to have somebody say hi.
Yeah, never.
So one thing I thought was important as I was reading through some of the material is that many of the calls you deal with actually prevent emergency responses. Tell us a bit about that.
What we do is when we have a new subscriber, we do a complete assessment with them and their family member, if they have one that would like to be present, and we get a lot of information from them, including what we call contact information and responders. And we get these because sometimes something will happen where they don't need fire or ambulance or police, they just need someone to come and assist. And how we do that is when they can press their button, we have those responders listed. Lifeline gets in touch with the responders immediately, and if the first one isn't available, they'll try the second one and they'll try the third one. They try everything to get somebody there to assist so that they don't have to be transported to hospital. And that is just a wonderful thing.
Well, I would think that would be critical, because a person, even if they were able to make that first call and didn't get a response, could become flustered, confused, terrified. So somebody acting on their behalf to get somebody to their door must be so critical. Have you had a lot of those cases?
We've had a few, and the one thing that I have got back from response was one woman that had said that she'd called, and she said, "They never left me alone." She said, "Until my neighbor came, they talked to me all the time." She said, "So it helped me to stop being so afraid." And that's exactly what they do.
That is, I can picture it now, because my mother had such a service, God rest her soul, that and it was so important. It did happen once, and I've heard this time and time again, especially if it's something, a heart that, you know, where stress could make it an even worse situation. That if they can remain calm and they know that help is coming, they don't panic.
No, they don't. And the responders on the Lifeline and like from Philips in Toronto have a way about them that they're able to give that assurance to whoever's on the floor or calling for help. They're calm, and that just passes through to the person that needs the assistance, and it's a wonderful thing.
And Delta will soon have the service where where somebody falls automatically. You don't have that yet, but will
We
be
do.
shortly? Oh, you do have that.
We do have it. We
Okay.
offer both services. We offer the automatic fall detect, and we offer the regular personal help assist button. And we are looking at getting some of the wireless units and eventually the Go Safe. With Philips support, we've been able to have some of the best technology for our customers in Delta. And with the auxiliaries foresight, we try and stay ahead and offer the best that we can to our subscribers.
Well, that sounds like, and maybe Jeanette, you can help me. Does every region that you work with have this service?
The auto alert is what she's talking about,
Right.
where it detects a fall when when at home. Yes, every region has it, but the Go Safe is just in certain areas. The Go Safe is when they go out of the home, and it's not the traditional service where they go out of the home, and those are just in certain areas in Vancouver and places like that on the island.
I would think
Victoria.
that has got to be the next step
It
forward.
is.
to
It will be
expand.
the next step. Yes. Yeah. I mean, there is a demand. Our programs are hearing more about Go Safe, and they're having, the customers or people calling in and putting their names on a wait list for Go Safe.
Has the wireless age really meant the biggest difference for this automatic communication? I mean, we think of the old days and the telephone and the rotary, and then we had the cell phones and stuff. I mean, now it's
Yeah.
just it, and to have this service, do you have to have a phone? Is it on the internet? Is it?
Well, we're finding more and more people don't have they just have cell phones. They've
Correct.
gotten rid of their lines. So this is where the wireless comes in. So as long as they have a cell phone, a cell line, then they can have the wireless unit in their homes, and so they get the same service. They can have auto alert or the traditional button.
A service that has become a calling for people like yourselves, and we talked about those calls that are so important for people who are in distress and who have pushed the button, or the sensor has gone out and calls are being made. Who are these people on the other end? Who are the people on the front line? Well, we're going to talk to one of them. Seamus Parker is going to join us on the line coming up in our next segment from the offices of Lifeline in Toronto. You can get more information about what we're talking about today at lifeline.ca or 1-800-LIFELINE. That's 1-800-543-3546. Stay with us. Boomer Life will be back on CIL 650.
Celebrating the baby boomer lifestyle. This is Boomer Life on CIL 650.